Here at Rockingham, we've seen how the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship battle has really tightened up, and that's also the case in the main event, the British Touring Car Championship, with Colin Turkington in our earlier race failing to score points. His championship lead over Giovinardi is now down to just 7 points. Well, the grid is starting to assemble for round 26, and we can go straight to Louise.
No cars down on the grid yet, though, so I'm going to grab a quick word with Team Dynamics boss Steve Neal. I want to have a chat with you about your man Johnny Herbert. How is he getting to grips with touring cars, do you think?
Oh, brilliantly. I think from his qualifying you can see that he's got the pace sorted. He needs time in the car, and that's what he's being deprived of by these incidents, and unfortunately that's what he needs most and what he can't get his hands on.
It looked like there was quite a substantial amount of damage to his car after that first lap accident in the earlier race. Have you managed to get it all fixed, and what did you have to fix?
Well, it had stoved in the left-hand side of the car, which had taken the A-pillar in and the sill in. So it was quite structural, but we managed to pull most of it so we could get a door on and shut the door. As long as nobody wants to get in or out of that door, we're all right.
How difficult is it for a driver to, Johnny's driven a lot of cars over the years, but there's a particular style to driving a touring car. How difficult is it for a driver to adapt and to learn the specifics of these cars?
Very difficult. Well, you take the four top drivers in British touring cars, and I call the Category A guys, Fabrizio Giovinardi, Matt, Tomo and Plato. Those guys have got that little bit of an edge, and to get to that point is where Johnny wants to be. And at the moment he's just off it, so put a bit more time in his car, he'll be there, no worry.
Quick word from you about the championship. Now, you guys not involved in it this year, but you definitely have been in the past. What's your feeling about how it's going to go?
I reckon Fabrizio's right. I think Jason's his biggest threat.
Okay, right, well, let's see what Mike Nicholson from VX Racing has to say about that. According to Steve, Jason Plato is the biggest threat in this championship at the moment, and that's certainly what your man Fabrizio has been saying.
Yeah, I can believe that as well, because he's a very quick driver anyway, and he knows how to win championships, Jason. He had a bit of bad luck earlier in the season. The car is really quick, he's quick, he's creeping up. And so we need to sharpen our pencil a little bit, I think.
Well, because you don't seem to have the pace. Why are you not so quick as them?
I think if we knew that, we'd have fixed it by now. It's, it seems that we are struggling here for sure. But if we grab 4 points there, if we can grab another 4 or 5 here, that more or less puts them on equal pegging for the last race. And then much depends then on the reverse grid, So I think it's certainly going to go to the wire at Brands Hatch, but it'll be tight, and Jason will not be far behind.
Are you struggling more than you expected to here?
Yeah, frankly. I think it's because it's warm. It doesn't suit us to be that warm. If it actually thundered now and we had a good old rainstorm, it would do us a huge favour. But the cooler the track, the better we seem to be, and it's getting a bit hot here now. So.
And what impact does that have?
Just the car seems to lose grip quicker, the tyres degrade a bit quicker, and we just sort of just don't be able to get the car out the slow corners. That's the problem.
Okay, thanks for talking to us. Right, let's go and grab a word with Colin Turkington. Disappointing performance in qualifying, but he was making his way up the field quite nicely until had that incident with Nash. It looked like he just kind of caught you by surprise there.
Yeah, James's engine just stalled momentarily, and I was coming off the corner, and I basically ran into the back of his car. At that stage in the race, the rear grip is already quite low, so I just lost the rear, but a bit of a donut, and I was going the right way again.
You've got a bit of a ground to make up on Fabrizio in this race. I guess for the moment it's all about pegging the gap to him, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. As long as he doesn't score too many more points than me today. I'm 45 kilograms lighter now than it was in race 1, so I think the car will be much quicker, so hopefully I can be right on his tail.
How much of an impact will that make? Is it purely going to be on the, you're going to be quicker down the straights, or does it make a big difference all the way around the circuit?
At Rockingham, it does seem to affect the car in the corner. Stephen Jelly's car has been very fast, and with the 45 kilos I've had, I just can't match him. At other circuits I can, but this weekend I can't. So hopefully today, I'm hoping this is it, that my speed will be back.
Good luck. We wish you all the best, and we'll be back to see the action after this break.
Rockingham earlier today for Stephen Jelly, at last a victory celebration, and the effect on his career as a result of this win will be interesting. The effect on his number 2 mechanic, James Mullen, is immediate and drastic. Win a race, he said, and I'll shave my head. He was as good as his word. Team Jelly with a bit of ballast, but significantly improved aerodynamics. Turkington's lead, that's been trimmed as well. And round 26 is going to be interesting. Over to Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thank you, Steve. Well, Tim's with us straight out of the Porsche Carrera race. Tim, you suffered fortunes of racing there, hitting some oil, and that's how championships can change. It could happen in touring cars as well.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, we've got to wait and watch this race with bated breath. Giovanardi now with no weight at all, starting as far forward as he can without incurring weight. He's going to be flying. Turkington's a bit further back, again with no weight, but they've got Andrew Jordan between them.
Well, let's see what happens. There's lots to look forward to in this one. Stephen Jelly with all that ballast on board, as we heard. Let's see how the grid lines up then. It is Stephen Jelly and Jason Plato on the front row of the grid. BMW versus Chevrolet. Second row is Matt Jackson in the second of the racing Silver Line cars, and Rob Collard, who's always fast off the grid in the Airwaves machine. Then it's the second Airwaves car of Johnny Adam with Fabrizio Giovanardi. No ballast on board the Vauxhall this time. Let's see what he can do. He's got Andrew Jordan to back him up. Then there's James Nash putting in another strong performance. Behind them we've got Paul O'Neill and then Colin Turkington, desperate to get back into the points properly in this race. Anthony Reid, his teammate, is behind the third Team RAC car, then Gordon Shedden in the Seat. We've got Harry Volkard and Tom Onslow Cole together on row number 7. On row number 8, it's Dave Pinkney and Martin Johnson. On row 9, John George and Tom Chilton in the Team Aon Focus. Towards the back, Matt Hamilton, he had engine problems earlier. Johnny Herbert, and right at the back is Matt Neal. Those two had contact, of course, at the start of the first race. So the cars are on their formation lap. Now let's see, starting of course back in third place on the grid is Matt Jackson, and we'll see whether he's going to be able to come through from there, given his run of podium finishes that he's been enjoying recently. The Chevys of course have been in such good performance at the last couple of race meetings. You can let's have a quick word with him. He's just coming around on this lap. This is Ben in the commentary box to Matt. Matt, we know that you've got your lucky gloves on. Just tell us what difference they have made. How come everything's been going so well since you found those?
God knows, Ben. Just one of those things. I was sat on the grid at Knockhill and I pulled out an odd pair of gloves, and we had a good result. So hey, why change things, you know? And so far so good. Let's see how we go in this race.
Well, you've had an amazing run of podium finishes. I think it's a record in the current system. What are the chances this time? Can you actually go for the win?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's very much depends on how good a start the BMs get. They're blindingly quick off the line here, and I don't think any front-wheel drive car is going to stick with them. But you know, people make mistakes, and that's pretty much what we can hope for.
Okay, have a good one. Into the pits has come Rob Collard, Tim. I don't know what's going on here, but we thought he'd have a good start, but he's just come into the pit lane.
Yeah, I saw him drive away quite gently from the line. He didn't spin the wheels up to get any heat in the tyre, which is a bit strange, but if it had been a prop shaft or something, he probably would have gone around a little bit slower.
Well, that's bitterly disappointing. A potential race winner there into the pits. Rob Collard for Airwaves BMW leaves his teammate Johnny Adams still on the grid, back on the third row of the grid. Look at the track temperature, 19 degrees. It is an absolutely gorgeous day. Another car into the pits, one of the Team Aon Focuses also coming in. So that's Tom Onslow Cole, I think, coming in, and that's a great shame. Obviously problems on that car as well. So dramas already, with Collard going to have to maybe start from the pits if they can get it going. We're getting ready for round 26 here from Rockingham. On pole position, the winner of the race earlier on, Stephen Jelly. Lights out, away we go. Jelly gets off the line. Plato trying to come down on his teammate Jackson, but Jackson gets away quicker into second place. And Giovanardi's made a good start as well. The Team RAC BMW's behind and trying to force their way through the middle of the pack as well. It's going to be frantic stuff down towards the hairpin.
Yeah, perfect start from Jelly, but it was Jackson, as you said, that nudged his nose down the inside of Plato.
So into the first corner, Jelly ahead, the two Chevys. Now watch out for any accidents behind. It looks a bit cleaner this time than it did first time around. And it's Jackson in second place, Plato in third. Giovanardi, though, is trying to come around the outside. Turkington's in that pack somewhere, but trying to work out where is not so easy. Dust flying up as well, and you've got Johnny Adam also attacking up in that front group. But Stephen Jelly, despite the ballast, is actually making a bit of a break up front.
Yeah, this is the first time Stephen Jelly's had that weight on board, so let's see how he deals with it. But the perfect start to his race.
In fact, Turkington has made a good getaway. Look at that, he's behind his big rival Giovanardi. I thought he'd got in there pretty well, and this is important stuff for the championship. The second Team RAC car down there is Colin Turkington, tucked up behind Giovanardi, and they're all bunching up together now, and Andrew Jordan trying to join in. There's Giovanardi's favourite tight line out of that hairpin, and this is going to be close stuff. Watch out behind Turkington, because he's got a couple of cars battling, including the other Vauxhall of Andrew Jordan.
Yeah, they were side by side there. Plato backed them all up. Look at this.
Paul O'Neill getting past Jordan. He just slammed his way past.
Brilliant drive. Paul O'Neill being aggressive when he needs to be.
He really went for it there. So race leader is Stephen Jelly, Jackson in second, Plato in third, Johnny Adam there in the BMW in fourth place, Giovanardi and Turkington chasing through, and then it's O'Neill up to seventh place with that aggressive manoeuvre on Andrew Jordan, with Jordan having dropped back behind James Nash as well. So not able now to defend Giovanardi. In fact, yes, there he is. They're still side by side, but Nash gets the place from Andrew Jordan.
Well, a lot of movement early in this race, so the big move was certainly Giovanardi and Turkington.
Up through this infield section, Johnny Adam in the BMW still keeping the pressure on Jason Plater. On board with Colin Turkington now from the front bumper. He's sitting in sixth place, and he's tucked in behind his big championship rival Giovanardi. The gap between these two was narrowed to 5 points after that first race today. It's still all to play for in the British Touring Car Championship of 2009, and Turkington chasing down the Vauxhall of Giovanardi. But remember, Plato's also becoming a factor in this series. He's a couple of places further up the road.
Plato's ever so defensive into that corner, and he backs everybody up. Giovanardi does his usual tight line, but of course it always puts him on the wrong side here, approaching the chicane.
So yeah, is there anything Giovanardi can do with that? Not really, and Turkington's able to close up as a result of the two of them jostling for position, and back out onto the outer oval they come, where they really begin to pick up the pace past this huge grandstand and to complete another lap. It's Stephen Jelly still leading, but down there in the pits, I'm afraid, is Rob Collard out of this race, and very disappointing.
Yeah, they were looking underneath the car. They had the wheels spinning while it was up in the air, so there's obviously some drive line transmission problem somewhere there.
Interestingly, Matt Jackson's just got fastest lap there. Jackson sitting second behind Stephen Jelly, and Jelly with the maximum ballast on the Team RAC car. Well, he could struggle as the race progresses. Meanwhile, Tom Chilton battling with Harry Volkard. Oh, and Reed's gone. Reed's spun in the background there. So battle's going on, but the third RAC car now right at the back of the field.
Yeah, well, that's one trick you can do with a rear-wheel drive car. Of course, you can spin it round on the spot like a donut, but Jackson's really on a charge. He's an exciting racer to watch, isn't he?
He's going so well at the moment. Oh, and John George is off. Now, that is in. Where is that? Could that cause problems?
Well, we don't have snatch vehicles here. Depending on where that is, it may well be that that's going to cause a safety car.
Yeah, it's just on the approach to the Piff Paff. It's not quite on the sort of racing line, but it still might be a problem. Meanwhile, Giovanardi still on the attack here, trying to get past Johnny Adam. Can't get through there. Turkington still chasing Giovanardi. Then it's Paul O'Neill, then James Nash, Andrew Jordan 9th, Gordon Shedden 10th. And then the rest of them all still fighting, jostling for position. Tom Chilton, Harry Volkard, Johnny Herbert, by the way, in 14th the last time he came around, still trying to pick up some places from the back.
Onslow Cole is out of the race as well. We saw him have a problem earlier, but he's out. No safety car at the moment, so let's go down to Louise, who's with Rob Collard.
Oh, well, we're just... Well, we had a slight problem with the sound there, so sorry about that. Let's get back into the racing. Stephen Jelly still leading this one from Matt Jackson and Jason Plato. We're on board with Giovanardi as he chases Johnny Adam, and still no way through as yet. And don't forget, he's still got his big championship rival Colin Turkington behind him. Oh, he's having a little look down the inside here, Tim. Almost a chance. Oh, and he's just giving him a little tap and he's through. He has got past.
Good move, good move.
So Giovanardi has gained one. He's up into fourth place. That puts the pressure back on Turkington in a way, because now he's going to have to try and get through.
Yeah, but now I think we can hear from Rob Collard with Louise while the safety car is coming out this lap.
Rob, you were saying?
Well, unfortunately, the car drove from the pits out onto the grid and it was fantastic. It felt really good. We took the green flag lap then to come round, and I lost drive. Some transmission fault with the car. Yeah, it's a real shame for the Airways BMW today, because I felt we could have had a very good race result in race 2.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Louise. Yeah, great disappointment for Rob. Meanwhile, safety car has been called, so the safety car is on circuit, and that's going to bring everybody back together now. Of course, Stephen Jelley, his lead had been eroded a little bit anyway by Matt Jackson. It was down to a couple of tenths of a second last time around, but this is going to bring everybody that much closer. Plato, Giovanardi, Adam and Turkington all will concertina together.
Yeah. And I think it'll be Jason Plato that's under attack from Giovanardi on the restart.
Absolutely right. Let's have a quick word with Matt Jackson. We'll try and catch up with him. Matt, things are going pretty well from your point of view. That car's obviously working. Do you think the BMW is beginning to suffer with the weight on board?
Yeah, I think the BM's starting to go off. Either that or Stephen's getting tired. But certainly looks like the rear end of the car with that extra ballast, it's struggling a little bit compared to the little Chevy that I'm in.
Okay, well, I hope the restart goes well for you. We'll have to see exactly.
We'll give it our best, guys, can assure you of that.
Sure you will. Stephen Jelley, there is Matt Jackson. Look how hard he's working the car, Tim.
Yeah, you really look at that. It's just really trying to keep the tyre temperature up, and good idea, although you'd have thought in this temperature the tyres would have kept fairly warm.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is just a replay, top right hand of your corner, and well, unusual place to go off there. John George just losing the back end of the car. I mean, the left rear is a colder tyre around here, but nevertheless, that was an unusual place to go off.
Yeah, that was a strange one. And of course, as he tried to get going, he dug himself in. Now, this was Giovanardi getting past Johnny Adam. This was a crucial manoeuvre. He just squeezed a bit on the inside, didn't he? And once he got just that edge, he was able to finish the manoeuvre.
Yeah, it was very much as we saw with Rob Collard in the first race. As soon as you're slightly wide there, you have to. Now that was the turning of Anthony Reid round. Not sure whether that was Chilton, I think, Tom Chilton. But could have been Onslow Cole, of course, getting his own back for Silverstone. But no, I think it was probably Tom Chilton.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that corner where Giovanardi went past, if you get the nose up the inside on the rear-wheel drive BMW, he's going to have to lift off.
Yeah, no chance at all to do anything. It's going to take another little bit of time to get this car out of the way. Oh, they are going to tow it out.
Look, judging by the fact it's got no front bumper, I think they tried to pull it forwards and rip the front bumper off as the front was nosed into the gravel. So they're now trying to pull it backwards.
Right, well, hopefully the pack is just being waved past, no problems there. They'll get that car behind a barrier and then we'll be able to get the racing underway once again. So what's happening in terms of the championship? Well, of course, Giovanardi now has a car between himself and Turkington, so that's going to be a gap of some 4 points maybe between them, depending on how far up the top 10 they will finish, and this is really going to bring them right back together in terms of points. Stephen Jelley still leading. We've got the lights out on the safety car now, and that means, of course, that we'll be going racing as they come around past us next time. They'll go on to lap 7 and they'll be racing hard, and Stephen Jelley will be hoping to make a little break again, but it was Matt Jackson behind him who was fastest, although Plato then went on to take fastest lap on lap 3, so it's Plato's got the extra point at the moment. Jelley really keeping it slow initially, and he's just going to judge the pace, and now he begins to light it up and drive away, and Turkington will try and use this as well to gain an advantage and try and get past the other BMW of Johnny Adam.
Yeah, good restart by all the front 3 cars.
Across the line they come then, and they're back to racing, and it's Stephen Jelley who's in front of Matt Jackson, Plato in 3rd, then Giovanardi in 4th, Adam and Turkington, O'Neill down in 7th, then James Nash, he's coming through in 8th. Watch them down to the hairpin here, of course, one of the major overtaking spots, but Stephen Jelley protects the inside relatively safely. Turkington having a little look at getting past Johnny Adam, but Adam keeps it tight as well. And no other dramas, I think, behind, all through safely this time.
Yeah, look, all nose to tail. It looked as though Giovanardi had lost a little bit, but he's made it up on braking for that first corner.
Yes, that's right. There we are on board with Colin Turkington, and we're looking right at the rear bumper of Johnny Adams' Airwaves car. 2 BMWs very evenly matched, their tyres going through much the same heat cycles around this twisty infield section here at Rockingham, and so it's difficult to gain an advantage on a car that is so similar, and the group absolutely together, still led by Stephen Jelly, and a little gap behind from these guys to the likes of Paul O'Neill. Having a look down the outside, but there's never real much chance to do that, and he'll try and cut back on the exit, but again, nothing happening.
No, it's, don't forget, this is the hottest part of the day, so tyres are really going to take a hammering here. So the degradation as we go through this second half of the race is going to be interesting to watch.
New race distance of 18 laps because we've had the safety car out there for a while. That adds a few laps to the tally. It's still Stephen Jelly that leads from Matt Jackson and Jason Plato, Giovanardi, Adam and Turkington. You're looking at Johnny Adam and Colin Turkington right now as they cross the line in 5th and 6th, and then behind them it's still Paul O'Neill and James Nash, but they're dropping back a bit from this group, so you've got two distinct groups now building up, and that helps Turkington to a certain extent because he can go on the attack here, Tim, without worrying too much about those behind him. And someone's gone off up there.
That was Jelly. Jelly's gone off. Jelly's gone wide.
Giovanardi trying to get past him, change of lead, then Jelly went off, and Giovanardi's got another place. Oh, and Turkington's going to try and follow through here if he possibly can, and suddenly it's all changed once again as Stephen Jelly. Now, that's the same area that there were problems in your race, the Porsche race, but I wonder what happened there to Stephen Jelly.
Well, we'll have to see, but both of the Silver Line Racing Chevys have gone through, and then obviously Giovanardi and Adam took advantage as well. So whether he outbraked himself or Jackson put a little move on him, we'll have to wait and see, but disaster for Stephen Jelly, and he will obviously now have to concede to Turkington for a championship point if you give him that place.
Yeah, he needs to get out of his way fairly quickly, you would think, so that he can allow him to get on with it. Oh, Jackson actually got down the inside of Jelly, and Jelly tried to keep it going and just lost out a little bit. Somebody else, I think it was O'Neill in the background, might have gone off, by the way, but you're just looking at this. Yeah, O'Neill went wide, but that was how Jelly lost the lead.
Yeah, look at that, and Giovanardi absolutely kept his foot down even on the grass and managed to get past, and of course usual touring car style, one gets past and 3 or 4 follow.
Yeah, well, Jackson's on a real roll at the moment of these podium finishes. 2 victories last time out at Silverstone as well. The Chevy is the car of the moment in British touring cars, but Plato will want to win this, there's no doubt about it. Plato Turkington just battling away there a little bit. Nash is behind them as well on the attack, so it can still all change, and I think Turkington is he ahead of Jelly now? He may well have moved ahead, I think. Yeah, Turkington is ahead. There he is, car number 4, ahead of Stephen Jelly. So there has been a change there, no surprise, and he's now back on the boot lid of Johnny Adam. But, of course, what he wants to do is get past Johnny Adam and catch up with his big rival, Fabrizio Giovanardi. Yeah, he's desperate to get past, and every point is crucial now as we click off the races and the championship's still at stake. And Adam being defensive there, he knows if he defends there won't be an opportunity at this corner or the next one to get past. This is the battle for 4th place then. We're on lap 9 out of 18. There's still half the race to go here, so plenty of time for things to develop. Johnny Adam really wants to hold on to this position if possible. The Airwaves guy has been out of luck in this race already. We saw Rob Collard out of the race, but so Johnny's their sole remaining one in this one, and he'll try and stay ahead if possible. On the other hand, he doesn't want to affect the championship. He doesn't want to do any damage to Colin Turkington's car, but he won't let him pass, that's for sure. He's going to fight every inch for it. Behind them is Jelly, then Nash, and behind them it's Andrew Jordan, and then Gordon Shedden in the Seat. And as we come down towards Dean, once again Adam just takes a clever middle of the road line in. Oh, but Turkington's got a good run out to the corner, can't do anything with it.
Yeah, but the reason there's so much incident at that corner is because you're stopping the car or slowing it down from, in the touring car's case, 140 odd miles an hour down to about 30. And judging that distance is very difficult, and the track, because it's cambered, you lose grip as you turn in as well. Very difficult corner.
Quite featureless too in some ways to actually pick that braking marker.
Yeah, because you're turning off the oval, so your vision and your eye line is actually looking straight ahead, and you don't get that sense of distance to judge the speed from that you get on a conventional corner with barriers around the outside and everything else.
That left-hander Gracelands is where Johnny Adam just seems to struggle a touch, and Turkington just giving him a little bit of a nudge as he has another go at getting past. Remember, Plato did that a little bit earlier to Johnny Adam. No action was taken, and it is something that maybe Turkington was thinking about, but it hasn't worked for him. He's still tucked in behind Johnny Adam. And Jelly behind, we've got a car off. That's Matt Hamilton.
Matt Hamilton, yeah.
Making his debut this weekend in British Touring Cars. He has had some engine troubles, but that looks like he's gone off there somewhere now. So hopefully that won't cause another safety car period. Hopefully it's far enough off.
Well, he's off at Tarzan, actually, the corner we just saw Turkington tipping into the back of things, so it may well be a safety car.
Okay, well, I'll have to decide on that. Race director will have to make a call. Meanwhile, Turkington on the attack again of Johnny Adam, still fighting to try and get into fourth. And look at the battle for the lead as well between the two Silver Line Chevys of Jackson and Plato. Giovanardi in third, Adam in fourth, Turkington, then Jelly, and then Nash. The second Vauxhall, that's Andrew Jordan. He's still fending off Gordon Shedden at the moment. Paul O'Neill after that minor off. Oh, and it is safety car. You're right, Tim. That position of the car off Matt Hamilton's car has meant the safety car's back out. So it's a busy time in this race for the safety car.
It certainly is, and of course this will close everything up again. Giovanardi will be able to latch onto the back of the two Chevys. Johnny Adam and Turkington go back up.
So around they come, and
there won't be any team orders, that's for sure, because Jackson is racing for himself as well as for his sponsors, and so is Plato.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're both, I mean, Matt Jackson's still not mathematically out of the championship battle himself, because having moved up the order in the last couple of events, he won't want to give up a win, and a win's a win, of course. And remember Matt Jackson, when they were driving for different teams last year, he sort of snatched that runners-up spot in the championship from Plato, didn't he?
Right at the death, yeah. Took second place and demoted Plato to third right at the last round, Brands Hatch. So he knows how to finish the season strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we'll try and have a quick word with Matt Jackson. Matt, this is Ben once again. That was a good move. Did you see sort of the opportunity coming there to get past Stephen Jelly? Just talk us how it went for you.
Well, we were quicker than Stephen before the safety car, and I knew that we'd got to get past him because he was backing us up into Jason and Gio behind. So it's really a question of getting past him as fast as we could. You know, the Chevrolet is fantastic on the braking zone. It's one of its strengths, and we have to use our strengths to our advantage. So it was really one of those. We saw a gap and we got a sniff and went through.
Well, yeah, we're just looking at the replay. That was a great move, really impressive move. But of course, you've got Plato right behind you, and although you two are teammates, you're both fighting for points, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, guys. It's you know, we're all each in here for ourselves, and I'm sure we'll keep it clean, but I'm sure we'll have some good racing.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens between those two. Obviously, both Plato and Jackson want the victory here. Lights are still on the safety car, so we've got a little longer to go. Giovanardi up into third place, Tim, the maestro that he is, the championship contender. There he is, going to get some good points out of this.
Yeah, well, don't forget he is running with zero ballast, so we always expect him to go past. But you know, when he got the opportunity to go past Jelly, he really snatched it. He knew that was a moment of opportunity and really went for it. And that's the mark of a champion, someone that can recognise when to take the opportunity and when not to. And he's worked his way through to a very comfortable third place at the moment.
Yeah, he is such a fighter. I mean, that's what I love about watching him, commentating on him, and. He just loves getting involved, doesn't he? And just fighting for every position. It's that sort of aggressive but controlled aggressiveness.
Well, as I walked over to the commentary box, a young lad sort of started chatting to me, and I said to him, "Who's your favourite touring car driver?" And he could only have been 8 or 9, this lad. And he said Fabrizio Giovanardi. And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because he has flair." He couldn't really put it, but I know what he means. He has got that flair.
Yeah.
And obviously appeals to a lot of fans.
Yeah.
He's the only foreign driver in the field. Every other driver in the field is English, actually. So
funny that, isn't it? Yeah. Well, he seems to have adopted British touring cars, taken it to heart, certainly over the last couple of years, hasn't he? Not dominating, but winning the championship the last 2 years, looking for the hat-trick, which hasn't been done for a long time.
Yeah,
but
I think sadly next year we will probably lose him to World Touring Cars, but because he will be looking to drive for a manufacturer and receive a nice little paycheck, which he probably won't get in the current climate in England, but it'll be our loss for sure.
That's right. Well, lights are out again on the safety car. They've managed to get Matt Hamilton's car clear away, and Matt Neal's car is sitting in the pit lane. They've had a miserable time this weekend. He didn't make the start of this one because of the accident damage to the car contact with Johnny Herbert in race 1, so he will be back out. Talking of Johnny Herbert, by the way, he's running 13th in this race, so made up a little bit of progress on the initial starting position. Yes, we are getting ready for the restart now. Matt Jackson just keeping the tyre temperature up. The safety car has already come into the pit lane. Jackson's keeping it fairly slow. The pace is slow initially. Now, when does he begin to pick it up? Now, is he going to pick it up as he comes out of Brook Chicane? Yes, so now they're on the gas. Now they're building up the speed. Restart underway once again for the second time in this race. The safety car's withdrawn. It's Matt Jackson who leads. Jason Plato in second. Giovanardi and Johnny Adam. Colin Turkington's had a pretty good restart, I think, here, but whether he's got enough momentum to attack into the hairpin, I'm not sure. And behind them, there could be some changes as well. Down into Dean. Watch for the locking brakes. Watch for the opportunistic manoeuvre here, perhaps. Not from the leaders. They're all through. Stephen Jelly's through as well. And again, everyone's reasonably well behaved.
Yeah, the field gets quite strung out on the restart because you can't accelerate until you're through that final chicane, and it's really everyone just taking it in turns to accelerate.
This is the points predictor, and if they finish where they are now, Turkington would still be leading the championship, but by just 3 points. That's how close. It was 11 points coming into this event, of course, and Jason Plato, he would also be closing that gap as well. So he'd be some 19 points behind. Still a chance for him, but really Plato could do with getting past Jackson, because it's a few more points on offer. You get another point for leading the race at some point as well. It really would be valuable to Plato here to get past his teammate, but can he do it, and can he do it cleanly as well?
Well, Matt Jackson, I think, is a very capable race winner and full of confidence at the moment, and Plato clearly has no car advantage. They're in the same car, so I think it's unlikely, but you never know. Depends how aggressive Jason is prepared to be. How much does he want this?
Yeah, that's right. Absolute determination, I'm sure, from both of them. Meanwhile, Turkington's still looking for a way past this man, past Johnny Adam, rather. Giovanardi here sitting in third place. He's quite happy at the moment because he's got a buffer between himself and Turkington. And up front, he is having a look down the inside. Plato, he's tight down the inside, but Jackson saw it and he stayed wide in the first part of the corner and then shut down into the corner when it was safe to do so. Clever stuff from both of them.
Yeah, Jackson was a little bit too deep into the corner, so Jason was looking for an opportunity, but Jackson was clever enough not to cut into the second apex.
Yeah, it is. It's what you were talking about, Tim. It's determining that braking point on your first flying lap into that corner. It's so tough.
It's difficult on every lap, but it's much easier to be the car that's following, obviously, to judge your braking off the car in front. Turkington is right behind Adam. He could, and he's pushing through.
He's through.
In the background.
Yeah,
look at that in the background. Turkington's through on Adam at that same corner, coming through Gracelands, where Adam seemed to have been struggling earlier.
A crucial move then from Colin Turkington. He just managed to have a bit more speed, and that's where Johnny Adam's been struggling, is through that left-hander, and Turkington's up to fourth, and Giovanardi will look in his mirrors and he'll see the orange colours of Team RAC, and he'll think, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have a car at least between myself and that machine. And once again up front, nothing to choose between the two Racing Silverline Chevrolets as they come back onto the banking past the start-finish line. 15 laps completed. We go on to lap 16 of 19 into the closing stages. Jackson, Plato, Giovanardi, Turkington up to fourth, Adam back to fifth, Jelly in sixth place, then it's Nash, Jordan, Chilton, Herbert's gained as well. Herbert's up to 10th.
Plato's looking.
He's done it, hasn't he? He's through. He's down on the inside and Plato's taken the position. Well, how about that? Jason Plato.
Clean as a whistle as well. Clean as a whistle. Matt Jackson, I thought he would defend into there because it was clear. I was trying to say that Plato had a really good exit onto the banking, and I thought Jackson would defend. He didn't, but Plato did that as neatly as anything.
Really good on the brakes, and whether Jackson was struggling a bit more on the brakes, I don't know, but Plato just straight through on the inside, and Plato now suddenly heading for victory here, and Giovanardi reckons that Plato could still be his big threat for the title. He'll have seen that, he'll know that Plato is fired up, but look how Giovanardi's actually caught them over the last lap. That's surprising.
Yeah, I think they delayed each other just a fraction during that manoeuvre, but the body language of Jackson's car looks like he hasn't given up on getting back.
No, that's right, I'm sure he hasn't. We've seen him fight back in the past many times, but Giovanardi's still pretty close. This is the Turkington move on Johnny Adam. Tim, talk us through this.
I think there was minutest little bit of contact just prior, and he just slipped up the inside. A really neat manoeuvre, typical Turkington, very, very clean.
Yep, Giovanardi still close behind Jackson. In fact, Plato's managed to just ease away a little bit coming out of the Brook chicane. Meanwhile, Paul O'Neill's heading for the pits, I can see, out of our commentary box window, so that's a disappointing end to the race for him. But it's Jason Plato that now leads this race. Jackson, then Giovanardi, and Giovanardi would love to gain another one here to put another buffer between himself and Turkington. Turkington still sits there in 4th place, Adam in 5th, then Stephen Jelly. You're on board with Fabrizio Giovanardi, top 2 ahead. Jackson looking for what would be his 8th podium finish in a row. What an amazing run
quite
Jackson's
incredible
having.
feat, quite incredible feat, and it looks like he knows to cover the inside now. He covered the inside into the Dean hairpin that time, but and around the rest of the lap he looks strong.
Yeah, he really does look good, but Plato's the one with the control at the moment. Coming into the long left-hander at Gracelands. This, of course, was where Turkington made his move on Adam. Cars really move around there. It's a great spot. You can see the cars working hard. Onto the brakes again. A little lock-up from Plato up ahead, but I don't think that's going to cost him any time. This is where Giovanardi loves the tight line on exit, but it's not enough to do anything with it.
No, he's just trying to hassle Jackson as much as possible.
Yeah, but Jackson's pretty solid, isn't he? It takes quite a lot to rattle Matt Jackson, as we've seen over the last couple of events. Behind them, by the way, Turkington still maintaining much the same distance in 4th position. Not going to lose many points to Giovanardi in this one. So the qualifying didn't go according to plan for Turkington yesterday. He's sort of made up for that here. Behind him is still Johnny Adams and Stephen Jelly. James Nash looking to be another Chevrolet up there in the points. And then Andrew Jordan, again Giovanardi just getting that a little bit closer under braking, not close enough to attack.
Not close enough to attack, but Turkington is actually catching them. Turkington was a fair bit quicker on that last lap than Giovanardi, some 0.4 of a second, so nearly half a second taken out of them on that last lap.
And Plato's heading for maximum points in this race, by the way, because he did get fastest lap earlier. That's worth the bonus 1. He's now led the race, so that's worth another bonus. And he's going to go for the maximum points for the win, the 15 points. So 17 points tally here for Plato coming up. He is still pushing to become a factor in this championship. Don't count him out yet, that's for sure. And it could well be a 3-way battle going into the last round at Brands Hatch as we continue to watch this. Turkington, as you say, that little bit closer, isn't he?
He is. He's taken another probably 2 or 3 tenths out of the corner, out of Giovanardi on this lap.
Yeah, that's right. Fascinating, that line he takes out of the hairpin. It's so against all the textbooks, all the theory, everything anybody ever tells you about racing.
But it works, doesn't it? Because you can see the gap between him and Turkington actually extend a little bit on the exit.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to work like that.
I love it. I love when you see drivers of that sort of caliber who can rewrite the rules. And that's what Giovanardi's doing. On to the last lap then, and it's Jason Plato who's heading for victory by the looks of things. And yet another Chevy win. We saw BMW win earlier on today, but Chevy are going to come back once again on this tremendous run they're having. Look at Turkington though, closing right up to Giovanardi here. Any chance for these 2 championship rivals? Is Turkington going to go for it on this last lap?
Well, it's not in Colin's nature to be pushy, but if ever there was a potential championship deciding moment, it's if these two get together now.
Yeah, if one of them were to fail to finish on this lap, for example, that really would have a massive outcome on the championship. So, is Colin going to take a big risk? Is he going to be happy to maintain the championship lead? Remember, he'll still lead the points if it stays as it is now. It's probably not worth a major risk to get past the Vauxhall of Giovanardi at this point, but who knows? Anything can happen in touring car racing. Plato, meanwhile, he's got enough of a gap to not worry about it. Jackson, Giovanardi and Turkington, these 3 tied closely together. Again, Giovanardi has the tight line on exit. Again, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. And Plato has this one surely well under control. Turkington just showing his nose, but not making a real attempt to get past the Vauxhall. And as they come out of the last corner, it's a big number coming up for Jason Plato. It's the big 5-0. 50 wins in British touring cars for Jason Plato. He takes it from Matt Jackson in 2nd, Giovanardi in 3rd, Turkington in 4th, Johnny Adam finishes in 5th place. Then it's Stephen Jelly, James Nash, Andrew Jordan. I think Tom Chilton's going to take 9th from Johnny Herbert. He does. But once again, Tim, Chevrolet, and in particular Jason Plato, taking the win.
Here's the team celebrating, the RML team. They've done another fantastic job for all three of their drivers, but as you say, it's Plato taking the big points, and that 50 wins is really quite a milestone. I mean, he's still 10 behind Andy Rouse's record of 60 wins, but we thought that was never going to be beaten. But of course, nowadays with 3 races on the day, it's the scores rack up much quicker.
Yep, so 10 away from Andy Rouse's record, but he did it in style. This was how he did it, Tim. Talk us through it.
Well, I mean, he just simply brakes later and still manages to stop the car. If you look here, he doesn't run wide at all. He doesn't push Jackson wide or anything. It's as clean as a whistle. A really, really good move.
And as we know, Jackson told us they weren't going to play any team orders. Jackson's in the battle to try and win this thing just as much as Plato. They have their own sponsors, and they are racing for themselves. And yet Plato was able to make the move, take the victory, his 50th British Touring Car win, his 4th win of the season, and in fact it's the 8th Chevy win of the season. The result then of the second race of the day here, Rockingham, seeing Plato winning from teammate Jackson, and Giovanardi a good 3rd at just ahead of big rival Turkington in 4th. Adam finished in 5th ahead of Stephen Jelly, James Nash in 7th place, and Andrew Jordan in the Vauxhall 8th, Tom Chilton 9th, and Johnny Herbert in the points in 10th. Outside the points, Harry Volkard, Anthony Reid, Dave Pinkney and Martin Johnson. Paul O'Neill a bit out of luck, retiring towards the end. Gordon Shedden went out as well. Matt Hamilton ended up in the gravel trap. Matt Neal was also in trouble with his Vauxhall, which has been in the wars this weekend. John George, Tom Onslow, Cole also had problems. So there we go. This is what it's done in terms of the championship. Colin Turkington still leading it, but look how tight it is. Just 5 points between himself and Fabrizio Giovanardi. Jason Plato still in with a shout in 3rd. Matt Jackson, of course, has now got past Matt Neal, so he's up into 4th place, a clear 4th place. Rob Collard, Stephen Jelly, James Thompson, Johnny Adam and Andrew Jordan complete the top 10. So 5 points the gap only as we look forward to another race here at Rockingham. Of course, we've got the reverse grid to deal with. We don't know how many cars will be on that reverse grid. Stay with us, of course, to find out. We'll be drawing that soon to see how many cars do get reversed. But there is Jason Plato, still in the hunt for the championship himself. Got to keep going for race victories. It's a fascinating prospect to know that Jason has just got to keep on winning. It's his only chance of still applying the pressure to both Turkington and Giovanardi. But that's what he's done here. He's got past his teammate, and he'll be well pleased with that.
He will certainly. He loves winning, and nothing like a sniff of a victory to bring out the best in the driver. And he's got the right car, and he's driving it beautifully. It's incredible to think that he barely had a drive at the start of this season.
That's right, yeah. And RML, of course, looking after these Racing Silver Line cars. You know, right early on in the year, it was tentative whether they were going to be able to do it. They have been able to do it. What a show they've put on.
Yeah.
Right, let's get down to the pits, get some reaction. Louise is there.
Well, Jason, when I spoke to you after the first race, you said, no way I can get a victory in the second race. You just proved yourself wrong, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, my car was fantastic. And, you know, as it worked out, I think Matt got a great start. And to be fair, his starts of late have been a bit better than mine. And I think that perhaps helped a bit because it meant he could charge off after safety car for sure helped, but he could charge off to Stephen Jelly and almost be a bit more forceful and a bit more committed in the overtaking manoeuvre. Good work, son. Then I could, and it worked out well. But I mean, me and Matt were racing. There was no orders. It was a genuine race. Obviously, we're not allowed to touch each other, but dead pleased with that. Dead pleased with that. I mean, mum and dad are here, but Soph and Alina at home, so that'll do.
50th touring car victory as well. Does that milestone mean? What does that milestone mean to you?
It's a lovely thing to have, isn't it? I think I've done 301 starts now, or 302 starts for 50 victories. So that's good. I mean, I don't know how many I've got to go to eclipse, you know, the legend of Andy Rouse, but I think it's maybe 10 more wins or something like that. I just hope, you know, I'm employable next year.
Well done, you. We hope so too. Matt, no victory this time, but still 8 podiums in a row. I mean, that's going some, isn't it?
It's good. Yeah. We need to make it 9 now, don't we? No, it's good. It's great for the team. You know, everybody at Racing Silverline, auto windscreens, everybody. You know, it's a great result. You know, it's been tough getting the programme going, but this weekend, mega.
Well done. Let's have a quick word with Fabrizio. Don't go away. Now, you made some changes to your car for that race. I take it they worked.
Yeah, if you have some suggestion, we can do it. Yeah, I thought you. I tell you, the Chevy will be again in the game, and this is what's happening. So we have to hard work until the end, I think, to be all three in the last race to fight for championship.
Well, and we'll be finding out where you're starting in that last race after the break, when we'll be making the draw for the reverse grid. So make sure you join us for that in just a few minutes.